Please welcome Andy Richter to the Morning After Show, the beloved comedian and actor who spent decades making us laugh from his iconic years with Conan O'Brien to countless film and TV roles. In this episode, Andy opens up about the unexpected emotions this partnership has brought up and how it sparked a whole new chapter in his life, earning him the title, The People's Princess. Okay.
Hi.
Hi. First of all, thank you for coming to my home across town after you're doing hours and hours of dancing.
No, it's a beautiful home, so it's lovely to be here. It's lovely to see you too.
It's lovely to see you outside of the ballroom.
Yeah, definitely.
The reason why I wanted to do this show in general is because we get so little time up in the skybox.
Yeah.
And I feel like over the season we get to know each other so well, and I just hope that we can offer the people watching this just a little bit more of like an in-depth, authentic version of yourself that like we don't get that much time on the show.
Sure, absolutely.
So,
yeah, no, and I mean it is. We spend a lot of time together. I was going to say I've never had a job this consuming, but you know, if you're on a single camera show,
yes,
it can be like. The first show that I had when I came out here, my son, who's now 24, was about a year old, and there were 4 days would go by where I'd only see him sleeping, because I'd leave before he woke up, and I would come home after he was asleep. So, yeah, that's very consuming. But this is really consuming.
This is absolutely consuming.
And this is, you know, the prospect of elimination always has that tinge of like, I do get my life back. That wouldn't be so bad. I mean, it'd be sad to go, but you know, I would.
Well, I want to know what was the impetus of you doing Dancing with the Stars to begin with?
An email asking me to do it, and I joked to you the first time when you said like, why did you do this? I said a paycheck, and I mean, yes, I know that's a joke, but it's also kind of like, you know, I make television. That's my job. I've been lucky enough to do it for over 30 years.
Yes.
And I'm also lucky enough to be able to do lots of different kinds of television. I'm an actor. I've been in comedies. I've been in, you know, and both the comedies have been longer ones and sitcoms. I've been in dramas. I've been in movies. Yeah. I've hosted game shows, you know.
You didn't do Second City though, right?
I didn't do Second City, but I did Second City kind of adjacent things.
Okay.
Just when I got there, I mean, to be frank, Second City wasn't at its peak.
Yeah.
And there were other places where you could learn improv more quickly with less kind of institutional rigmarole, you know. And also, I also got the hunch really quickly that getting on stage was the main thing. You can take classes all day, but until you get on stage in front of 25 drunks, that's where you're going to learn.
Do you have any funny stories about that, like growing up? Like this was the worst experience in performance of my life?
Well, the thing that comes to mind is that we used to do a lot of shows. This one group that I was with, they used to do a lot of shows, and with a group that was called Jingles, which was Jewish singles.
Okay.
And they gave the most filthy suggestions that we had ever encountered. Every single one.
Can you give us a hint of what?
Cock and balls! Oh. Blowjob! You know, and these are the women that are saying this. Yes. And it was just, you know, it's like very nerdy Jewish singles who obviously were just so like ready to go, you know.
Bringing Jingles back.
Yes. So that's one. But then, you know, there wasn't, in Chicago, people know improv. So they're pretty, I don't have any sort of like drunk heckler kind of things. And also the thing about hecklers at improv shows, there's not just one person to shoot them down. There's like 7 or 8 people ready to go.
Terrible.
Sit down and shut up.
What brought you to LA?
I got a part in the movie Cabin Boy, and I moved out here, and that was going to be, all right, I'm an LA person now. But then Conan came along right at that time too, which I was out here. Cabin Boy had been shot, and what I thought was going to be my nest egg from Cabin Boy turned out to be a hummingbird egg, and I was looking for jobs, and And one of the jobs I had applied for was to be an assistant manager at a movie theater in Westwood. And I had the chilling thought of like, oh, what if Cabin Boy plays here and I'm serving popcorn, you know? Yeah. And they actually, the day that I got hired on Conan, they called me back to come back for like, they kind of said like, you got the job, you know, but we only have a second. And I was like, sorry.
You're like, guess what?
I'm going to work on the show that's replacing David Letterman. So, yeah.
What was that call like? And did you go out on that audition?
No, that was not an audition. That was, you know, comedy.
How did that happen?
Comedy in many cases
is word of mouth.
Word of mouth.
Yeah.
You get an opportunity, and you're like, you ask your funny friends, who's funny, who's available, and that was kind of what had happened. Conan got the job. Robert Smigel had worked with Conan. Robert Smigel was going to be the sort of creative producer on the show, head writer on the show. Yeah. And I had met Robert through a friend that had been on SNL, and we'd hit it off. So he just called me and said, hey, I'm going to be doing this thing with this guy Conan. Will you submit some material?
Yeah. Was that something that you thought like was an option for you
coming
out?
Not even. I never thought about like, oh, I'll be a writer on a late night show. David Letterman was incredibly I mean, I don't know about hero, but certainly comedic, artistic hero was a big one. So yeah, that show was very like formed my sense of humor. But I did not think I didn't want to be myself. I wanted to be characters.
Yeah.
But this opportunity came up, and he said, you know, write stuff because there's going to be plenty of opportunity for performing, and there was. Most of our writers were also performers and did tons and tons of stuff on the show, and still do. You know, Brian Stack is a writer on Colbert and is still still dressing up as Frankenstein. He's been doing it for 35 years.
Was that like a? Obviously, it was a stable job as an actor. You're like always like, oh my gosh, what is my next, paycheck and all that kind of stuff. And so obviously that was like stable, but was there a part of you that was also like, oh, but I came out here to do this?
Not at first. Not at first, but after a while, yes. I started to feel like, because after 7 years of doing late night, I started to just get antsy and feel like I want to act. You know, I want to act and I want to do something else. And I also kind of felt I was young enough and itchy enough that I just felt like I'm doing the same thing over and over. I mean, granted, it's always kind of different, but I kind of feel like I'm just doing the same thing. And I also felt like I've enjoyed this good fortune. Let me see if I can put it on the table and see if it can reap dividends. Yeah. And I also had seen a lot of friends that had done a lot of people, like guys that had been Daily Show correspondents, came out to LA and everybody had to have them. Yeah. And so I knew I've been on Conan, I've been off the market for 7 years. I'm going to come to LA and everybody's going to, and it was like that. The minute it was like out that I was going to come, everybody had to have me. Nobody, you know. And I knew, like, I wasn't worried about getting the first job, and maybe not even the second job. It was like the third job that I was worried about, that like where it would run out of steam.
That's an interesting like observation too, because I've been out in LA now for almost 20 years. Yeah. And I kind of felt like stars were aligned when I first came out, and things are just happening. Yeah. And then you kind of go through a little bit of a dip, and then you're like, wait, what's coming next? And was there that moment ever for you? Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. I came out here and I did a show that was created by a guy named Victor Fresco called Andy Richter Controls the Universe. It was for Fox. It was a very funny show. And also, too, I have high standards. I'm not going to do... I come out here and they set you up on arranged dates with showrunners and they pitch things to you. And, you know... And like... arranged dates. Can we just explain that they're called generals? Yes. And you go to these like... not auditions, but you go and have this general meeting with somebody and you're like... I'm kind of selling myself, but like for what, I don't know. Yeah. But also, what are you looking for? It's just awkward. It's very awkward. It definitely does feel like. You know, so what do your parents do? Yeah. You know, that kind of date thing. But in this instance too, at that point, I would say
60 to 70% of them were, and I mean, this is just guys that I just knew were half as funny as me explaining comedy to me. And I just was like, oh, this is not going to work. Whereas Victor, we met and he had this idea for this show where he said, it's a show about a writer who works in an office, and he's the narrator of this story, but he's an unreliable narrator. Mm-hmm. So you might get to the end of a scene and he says, like, you know what, I'm sorry, that isn't how it really happened. And then you replay it. So like lots of fantasy sequences. That's so fun. I was like, that's a fantastic gimmick. Yeah. That could last 10 years. Yeah. Absolutely, let's do this. So and it was also, again, the timing was really like, my son was just born, mm-hmm. you know, and so we were moving from New York to Los Angeles with a little kid. And that show was a very funny show. The sort of development process on Fox was fantastic. Mm-hmm. And this is a recurring theme of my life. Mostly women. Mm-hmm. Loved it, got it, understood it. Got to the wall of men who make decisions, and they're like, "What? Like,
we don't get it."
Yeah, at the time I coined the phrase "exploding titty," which means boobs and cars that blow up. And they were like, "Where's the exploding titty?" And so they didn't get it, and they bought it as a half as a mid-season, and Gail Berman, who then became the president of the network afterwards, but after we were canceled, she said, give us just another one. Mm. So we got another mid-season, but it's still, but it was at the same time that, Arrested Development was coming in, and they had a show called The Tick that everybody mm-hmm. loved, that just the men in charge did not get, and they mm-hmm. did not know what to do with it.
What did that do? Was it just like, like that was
it was,
and then how do you come out of that?
It was, I thought that I was galvanized to expect disappointment, and that I had, that like, all right, I know there's disappointment, I know it's part of it. And it is. And you gotta get, that's like something, you gotta get used to disappointment. And I mean, auditions, it's a rejection parade.
Oh, completely.
Yeah, and you get your hopes up. You're auditioning for a big show, and you're thinking, oh my God, what could this do for me? And you go in and you think you do a good job, and then there's just tumbleweeds.
Do you feel like that, like that thick skin that we all like learn how to do? Does it kind of like dampen the excitement for what, like the present moment?
I imagine that it can, but what I have noticed in myself is that it never doesn't hurt, mm-hmm. and that's just part of it. Mm-hmm. And that's, we're not there yet, but with Dancing with the Stars, mm-hmm. that's been part of this whole thing with me, is that like, I know I have been ready at some point to get hurt. Mm-hmm. I've been ready at some point to be disappointed. Mm-hmm. And it hasn't happened yet. Well, we'll get to that. But so yeah, that's always a part of it. You think like, and I'm 59 years old. I still think like, I could take it. And then it's like, ouch!
Oh,
wow, I wanted that. And with that particular one, I thought I was fine. And it also sort of unfortunately coincided with like one of those weird, like they thought there was going to be a strike, so they got all their production out of the way. And then 9/11 happened, which ruined the economy. So there was like
just a string of things.
Almost a year. Yeah. And then the show got canceled. Almost a year of nothing. Mm-hmm. And what I did was dropped my son off at preschool, went to Roosevelt Golf Course, and sort of, with the help of old Korean men, learned how to play golf for real after playing it my whole life, and licked my wounds. And at the time, I was supposed to be writing screenplays and all this stuff, and I don't think my ex-wife really understood how good my golf game got and how little else happened.
I love that you brought that up about golf and or something. Like for me, that's surfing.
Yeah.
And it's like, I think because we love what we do so much, we pour everything into what we do, and it becomes our job and a thing, and then it can sometimes consume us almost in a way that like doesn't allow us to just feel free. So
Absolutely.
So was that moment of you
it was a vacation from
taking-
myself. It was a vacation from myself, and that's what golf has always been. I haven't played very much lately just because of circumstance, but also because from the waist down, I'm a mess. Well, from the thighs down, I'm a mess.
Cock and balls.
No, but like, well, you know, I mean, I've talked about it before. I need a hip replacement, and it's just the left one. And I think about it's where the
That's
torsion
yeah.
is on a golf swing,
Yeah.
and on tennis, which is the other game I play. Everything ends up there. It's just a twist, and I have malformed hips to begin with. I've always had instead of my femurs being balls, they're like eggs. So they've been grinding forever.
Okay.
My hips have been grinding. So.
And now they're really grinding.
And now they're really grinding. Now you can hear them if you listen closely. So yeah, and that's what golf always kind of was a vacation from myself, where you go, and it was also too an excuse for me and my male friends to hang out, which
is so important.
And men don't. We don't do that. I don't. You know. I have to make a point to just like. I have friends that like I have to make like let's have lunch just so because we text and stuff, or there's Dodger games, you know. But you know.
No, that's so important. Literally last night I was talking to my girlfriends and they were all together and they like their dudes decided that they're gonna start this new consistent thing like the Gentlemen's Club, and they're gonna put suits on and go out to dinner. It's the cutest thing I've ever heard.
Yeah.
Because girls do it.
Yeah.
We all go out and get
Absolutely.
together, dress up, go to
concerts.
But like dudes just don't like have like a weekly like stand up hang. You know? It's awesome.
I've never been like a huge like sports guy.
Yeah.
Or even like I like hanging out with women. I've always have.
Yeah.
I was raised by women, and like if I go to if there's a party. And the men are all in one area. I'm like, where's the women?
Wait, have you ever noticed like men are always sit in like a straight line, and then at parties, with the women groups always go in a circle.
Yeah, and they're usually in the kitchen.
Totally.
You know, like I mean, from when I was a little kid, Thanksgiving, Christmas, whatever, I'm going to the kitchen. You know,
best.
I mean, sometimes my uncles would play cards, and that was fun.
That's
but other than that, but like sitting around and watching the Bears game, I was like, I'm gonna go to the kitchen. There's food there.
Well, speaking of like just hanging with friends or girls or guys, Dancing with the Stars is like a family.
Yes.
And have you experienced, I mean, we talked about it where you were like, this is one of the best productions. It's a machine. Like, you've been on lots of live productions and everything, but you are quite impressed with how this
I've
runs.
never seen anything like this. It's, I mean, just the simple, from being on a show that's live-ish, you know, like our show wasn't live, but it was shot as if it was live.
It was, yeah.
We could stretch commercial breaks if we needed to, but we rarely did. Because and the reason for that is that we started in the pre-digital age.
Yes.
When the commercial breaks, the way that the TV worked at that point, where there were two tape machines running next to each other. One had program, one had commercials, and they were A/B like that. And if your commercial break went longer than it was supposed to, there'd be a very grumpy union guy that would have to recut one of those tapes, and you'd never hear the end of it. So we got into disciplined thing of if it's a 3-minute commercial break, that's what we take on the floor. And we kept doing that, and we tried to stay to that because also it's keeps the audience fresh. I would go to other talk shows. They make people sit out there for 15 minutes listening to deafening music while they figure out what to do next. So the fact that last week they set up 2 live multi-piece bands in 3 minutes. Never anywhere else would they be able to do that.
Unbelievable.
That you tell another, like if you had told, and I mean the guys on Conan were great, but it was like, we got to set up this band in 3 minutes, then strike them and set up another band in the same 3 minutes, they would have been like, fuck you.
It's also
no, we don't.
No, it's also wild to me too because the actual like studio itself, it's not like this big studio where you're seeing all the things. I don't know. It's magic. I'm like, how do they get these set pieces and like it's wild.
Everybody says it's so much smaller.
Yeah.
But, I mean, but they say that about a lot of television.
Yeah.
But the other thing about that room too is that there's nowhere to hide. There's no, and that was something when Emma would talk to me in the early days about are you nervous by the time the dance rolls around, or people would ask me about it, and I would say I'm kind of not, because I'm in that room
You're
all
already
day.
there.
It's not like you're back in some room and then all of a sudden you go out and you're in front of people and there's this big change. You're there milling around in front of them. And
That's such a good point.
And when you have a costume change there,
Yeah.
it's like there's no sort of like, well, you don't want people to see you in your new outfit. You're like, no, you go out and then all of a sudden, you come back and we're in the skybox and like, oh, now he's dressed like a wizard. Like, how did that happen? Oh, I guess he's going to be a wizard and something,
No, it is. And that, I mean, I'm so lucky because I've been on the show almost 20 years.
Yeah.
And I've seen Nadej, who does the spray tans. She's been there since day one.
Yeah,
and, Easter, the camera operator, who, like, I see at award shows now.
Yeah,
and we're like, my buddy.
Oh,
it's family.
There's like 4 stage managers there that I know. Your lighting designer was on Conan. You just get to know. There's this continuity of people, and and that's the same thing on Conan too. There are people there that have never had another job, that have children going to college who have never worked anywhere else, and that is a testament to a good place to work.
A good culture, good people. Yeah, Dina Katz, the casting director, her daughter was 4 years old, and now she's part of my team at my agency.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
I'm like, how did that happen?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
So it's really special. What about the relationships with the cast? Because I think a lot of people are like, oh, you guys are a family. Is it competitive? Like, do you guys talk outside of the show?
Yeah. Not a lot, because
everybody's so busy.
Not any time, I mean, I was
gonna say, what is your routine?
My routine usually is, because I like the morning slots.
Yes.
Up until now, it's been 9 to 1, 1 to 5, 5 to 9.
Yes.
Are the blocks in the studio. Now that it's gone to 5 hours, it's 10:30 to 2:30, which actually is a little bit better for me.
Oh, good.
Because I live in Pasadena, my daughter's in kindergarten, and because my wife has had to take on so much stuff with me being gone, when I get up in the morning, I want to get the dogs walked, I want to get the dogs fed, I want to get my daughter's lunch made and get her breakfast on the table before I head over to Emma. So that's kind of the morning, and sometimes I'm better at it than others in terms of, traffic, blah, blah, blah. It can be 35 minutes or an hour and a half.
Totally.
And then there's the dancing, and then in the afternoon there's usually some kind of podcast thing. Some kind of podcast thing, and then I get home, and normally I'm the cook in our family, and that is the thing. They asked me in an interview, and but it's like, I miss making dinner for everybody, and I haven't made dinner for really.
What's your go-to dish?
Well, nothing really right now. And my wife, I married a vegetarian, so that altered my cooking plan. And I don't mind. I love vegetarian. Yeah. Vegan's too much. Vegan, I'm like, I'm not going to eat eggs, I'm not going to drink milk, you're not going to have cheese. Like, that's like anything where it's like no cheese, I'm like, well, forget it. Yeah. That's a no dice. So I had to rearrange the way that I cook things, because it was always like sort of, well, let's have chicken and then build out from there. And I don't like a lot of the kind of sort of fake things, fake meats and stuff like that. Yeah. I mean, we will eat Beyond Burgers and that kind of thing, which are like pretty amazing.
They're really good. I'm into it.
But it's usually like some kind of pasta, or it could be.
I love it. Well, we'll have to have a dinner party at some point.
Absolutely,
I love it.
I'd love
to
to.
Cook too.
Yeah.
With the response that you've been getting on the show, I mean, you are kind of known as the People's Princess.
Yes.
How's
Which
that
I don't
title?
know where that came from.
You're like, I'm a comedian, I'm an actor,
Yeah,
I'm the People's Princess.
I do not mind in the slightest. Somebody asked me, like, does you mind with princess? Like, no.
You're like, no, I like hanging out with women. What are you talking about?
Yeah. Give me the tiara, I'll put it on. I don't care.
What has that response been like? Have you had that influx of like admiration or love or support in your career?
No, I said I've never been through anything like this in my life. I said it on a video, because I'll make like a please vote for us video every week. Because I just feel like the voting is so complicated and people still don't get it. They still don't get it.
Well, clearly they're getting it.
Yeah, they're getting it now. But that's because I always am like, if you're on the West Coast, it's 5 to 7, which is the thing that, like, I see people online that are, and now I'm seeing a lot more people online that are angry that I'm still there.
Oh, no.
Yeah. But I see people online saying, like, people are voting before the show even starts. And I'm like, yeah, because they live west of the Mississippi, and if they waited for the show to be on, they can't vote. So yeah, that's the only way. If you're in the mountain or western time zone, or Alaska or Hawaii, you have to vote before the show is on, or you're not. It's not going to count, which is weird. You got to talk to somebody about that.
I know. I wish I could.
It's really strange.
What's the funniest thing or the cutest thing that you've seen? Like from fans supporting you?
Well, the most recent one was New York City Marathon, a sign that said, if Andy can make it to week 8, you can run 26.2 miles. Yeah. And there wasn't just one of those, there was a number of those.
That's incredible.
But people, I have become a Halloween costume.
Oh my gosh.
Which is black shoes and socks, shorts, knee straps, and a white headband. And all of that is just purely functional. It's like, I got to hold my knees together or I'm not going to finish this thing. And as a part, my legacy from my father is excessive forehead sweating, which
granted, that's why I turned the fire off.
But it also, it's really annoying because it's triggered by the slightest kind of domestic effort, like changing a light bulb, whoosh, like just any sort of like trying to fix the sink. Whoosh. So if I do anything around the house, if there's any sort of like install a ceiling fan, I'll start it and I'll be like, oh, I forgot to put on a bandana. I forgot to stop the sweating on my head. So yes, but it's a Halloween costume.
That's
people
amazing.
Are doing it. People are putting their babies in it.
Oh my
They're putting
gosh.
little black pieces of tape on their
cute.
babies' legs and white headbands on their babies.
That's pretty amazing and impressive. Like the fact that you can be so influential and bring so much joy.
Yes.
And like heart to it. I mean, again, not to like, beat a dead horse. There we go.
Yeah.
Is that like comedians usually go in like, and they're like, in my experience at least, like witty, hard, like, and like, has this cracked you open?
Oh, absolutely. An aspect of this is that, like, I have been around a long time, and I have always, to some degree, I've learned to, like, just be myself. Mm-hmm. I'm very comfortable being myself. Mm-hmm. And there's a lot of things, there's a lot of things, like on the show, that producers will be like, that they
say this
because they want you to say things just to make things, because we make those tape packages and they're looking at it as kind of like a template.
Yep.
And so there's just like various different things that they kind of, just to make it easy, put it up there, things like, well, this dance is a struggle and it feels pretty wicked, but I'm gonna do it, just like that kind of stuff. And there's stuff that they want me to say and I'm just like, there's no fucking way I'm going to say that, Mm-hmm. And to the point, and sometimes, you say it repetitively because they shoot you in 4 different areas kind of saying the same things. And sometimes by the 4th or 5th time, I'm just like, no. Yeah. Like, the one I got snapped on was like, what does Hosier's yell mean to you? And after like the 5th time,
what does that even mean?
Because
dance?
And I can never remember which the dance was, but it's the one where we were in white and I grabbed the camera, and it's that northern.
When you came around.
Yeah.
That was during that was the week before your Cornelia dance.
Yes,
right?
it was the. I think it was
like
yeah,
second or third.
Yeah.
Week, yeah.
And so in the middle of that, there's Hosier's Yell, and that's what the sort of TikTok viral aspect.
Yes.
And people were putting it to like, here I am in the Alps kind of thing. Like the fifth time they asked me, I said, I don't even fucking know what it means. I told you 4 times. Said it 4 times. Use one of those. Yeah. Leave me alone. But I do feel like, and I feel proud of this, that there's been no calculation on my part as to like what I'm doing.
Yeah.
I got hired, and I've said this before. This is my current TV job. I make TV.
Yeah.
I got hired on this show, and when you said why did I do it, I got the email, and I've told Dina this. I've told everybody this, that I got it. It was in the morning. I was brushing my teeth, opened an email, and I think my wife had driven our daughter to school, and I was home alone. And I was brushing my teeth, and I opened it, and I saw the offer to be on Dancing with the Stars, and my first inclination was to go, say no and don't tell Jen. Like, just say no, and that, because don't tell Jen because she'll be disappointed
She'll
that
want you to do it, yeah.
And literally, I hadn't even stopped brushing my teeth, and I was like, I have to do this. Like and not just I have to do this because it's a good show, it's good exposure.
Yeah.
The main reason that I said I have to do this is because I need to do this. And I as much as I'm a happy person and I after years and years of work, I got out from under years of depression. And I truly do love myself and accept myself. I was still in a rut in many ways, especially physically. And I had this kind of curmudgeonly, like, I don't like cardio, exercise. Because I had worked out with a trainer for most of my adult life. And that was my method for working out, was
having a coach.
Committing to somebody
totally.
who was there. And it wasn't because the money, because there were times when I'd have to cancel last minute. I'd be like, oh.
Yeah.
But it was because there was somebody there, and I didn't want to disappoint them, and that I'd committed to them and I would be there. So that kept me going for a long time. And then when the Conan show ended and COVID happened, the trainer stopped, and then frankly I couldn't afford it really anymore. And so my physical activity was limited to gardening and walking dogs and being jumped on by a 3-year-old, So I said yes to it immediately, and Dina is actually, she said it in front of me 3 times to other people. Within a half an hour, he said yes.
Yeah.
And just because I knew I had to.
Well, I think that's really important for people to hear because I think movement, whether it's working out, but I think specifically dancing is so. I mean, this is my woo-woo stuff coming out right now, but like. Dance is so healing, whether it's emotionally or physically, because you get out of your head and you get into your body, and you're working your body out in a way that maybe you didn't even think was possible. And then and then the emotion starts like activating in a way that like has probably been a little dense and like held in the body.
Absolutely.
And so I feel like even just watching you from the first week to today, like your whole vibrancy, like your energy, you're just so bright. Yeah. And like you've always been bright, obviously. You're such a joyful, happy person, but like like your physical skin is like brighter, It's and sweating.
All of that. Yeah. And I mean, and I am anti woo woo. Yeah. I'm very, I'm not, well, I guess it would be skeptical too, but as I said in one, I didn't even remember that I had said it in the tape package. I'm allergic to phoniness. Yeah. I just and that's, with the producers and stuff, I can't take it. You can see right through it. And it's just because I do think that it's, especially in the television world, it's a disease. It's like and it's lazy and it's cynical. Most of the time, the sort of this beautiful journey, it's bullshit that's covering up laziness and just they'll eat this shit up no matter what. And it's much harder to be honest, and it's much harder to be real. And I think that it's just it's one of the things that I really have a problem with industry, and in especially like particular parts of the industry that are just live on
the
on
beautiful
empty,
thing.
on empty promises and empty sort of good feelings and stuff. So and that was the skepticism that I had about this show until I was in it, and you're absolutely right that first of all, just breaking through I had this like resistance and I just ultimately realized I'm just afraid. This is just me being afraid. This is just me being insecure. And it's lots of fat kid shit. There's lots of fat kid shit that I had to get through that is still there. And also too, and I might choke up about Emma Slater. None of this would happen without her. She's been, she's gonna love this. Like an angel, truly. I'm not even religious, but I mean, just the amount of transformation that she didn't know she was bringing it to my life, but it's just been incredible. And she, we started loving each other really quick. And through her loving me and taking care of me and teaching me in a way that I think she realized, this is a crabby old man. I gotta kind of, and she taught me how to do this stuff that I was initially was so hard for me to get because the wiring from here to here was just crusted over. And I started to feel so good about just moving and about, getting a handle on this thing that seemed so daunting and so scary. And then it was during that, and she's because she always goes was it our foxtrot? And I'm like, which one was that? I don't remember the dances, but it was that one that we danced to in the, I think it was a foxtrot. Or no, maybe it was a Venus. No, I don't remember. But it was the one we were in white, and I held the camera, and it was, Noah Kane. And in that dance, rehearsing that dance, 3 times, I just burst into tears because it was like magic. And I didn't even believe in magic, but I knew the steps, and I did them, and I was connecting with her, and it just, something happened that was there's no words, there's no sort of, and it's not even specific emotion. It's just just you open a Jack in the Box of just joy and sadness and wonder, and I was like, oh, dance, I get it, it just opens up something in you, and it's not just in you. You feel like, oh, there's a frequency in the universe that I just became an antenna for, and it's happened enough. Last week's dance, our contemporary, which was kind of about our relationship. It was it wasn't as tear jerky as that one, but I told her, I said, I'm just gonna love you this dance. I'm just gonna spray you with love during this whole dance, and it just. And there were times, where we get, and even through the camera breakthroughs, where you get to the end of it, and you just feel
overwhelmed with it.
And something, there's some energy shooting through you. Yeah.
Well, by the way, thank you for sharing all of that.
Thank you. You're welcome.
No, but because what you were just saying about the journey and the woo-woo and people saying all that stuff, it doesn't mean that Dancing with the Stars is this pretty glossy thing that's easy. You put so much hard work, and it's tough. And you said,
I think that's integral to doing it.
Exactly. You need the fear. You need the courage and the bravery to push through it. You need the support of your partner.
Yeah.
And when you feel that combination of breaking through something and these old insecurities coming up, and then you get this moment to actually be fully expressed.
Yeah.
And through the body where you don't have to explain it, you get just to be it.
Yeah.
oh, that makes me want to cry because that's what I've been experiencing my whole life as a dancer. And so seeing someone like you have this experience is why people are voting for you, because they see that maybe I could have that experience for myself.
Well, and that's another thing that I think too, is that I do represent something attainable. Some of the other stars, they're just so damn good.
They are so damn
and so fit and like literal. I mean, there's Jordan, literally a world-class athlete, but then there's others of them. Like Robert is a world-class athlete. He he's not necessarily making his living doing it, but when you see the things that he does, you're like, oh, that he could be professional soccer player, baseball. You fill in the blank, because he's just incredible. Whereas, so people can watch them and go, that's incredible, and be amazed at like what the human body is capable of. And then they can look at me and go, hey, I could do that. If he can do that, I could do that. And they can see sort of the incremental progress that I make and go, hey, maybe I can do that. And there again, like, I'm not into like, I want to be an example for people. I want to show people. But
that's not like your mission to do this, to inspire. You just are being you. And therefore.
And it is a fact that like, okay, I can see how somebody could watch this late 50s TV guy with bad knees and overweight, throw himself into this thing and commit to it. Which, and for me too, like I said, like, yes, there was the wanting to get better, but I threw myself into this because I make TV, and I took this job, and this job is, there's no lines to learn, but this job is, and I understand it completely, if you're gonna do this, do it, and stick to it, and push, and as much as I have this thing in me that I was telling Emma the other day, and it was there, and I call it Crabby Baby, which Crabby Baby, it came up the other day because of the second dance we had to learn for the team dance, and we were learning it, and I'm just in my head, and I'm trying it and getting it wrong, and trying it, getting it wrong, and it's because in my head I'm going like, I don't want it. I got one dance already. Why do I have to do another dance? And in my head I was like, shut up, Crabby Baby. You got to do it. You know you got to do it. You know you're going to do it. So just shut up. And I kind of talked to her about that. And I said, Crabby Baby also comes out when Daddy is tired.
But what's fun about that is when you name something like that, then your partner, Emma, or Jennifer, or whoever, can be like, Crabby Baby. And make it playful versus it feeling like you're doing something wrong, or you're doing something bad, or Crabby Baby is a bad thing. Crabby Baby is just a part of you.
It's one of the many voices that's in
there.
And
guess what? Crabby Baby deserves to exist, but also Crabby Baby needs to get in the back seat right now.
Well, and also there's some times when Crabby Baby absolutely deserves to be listened to.
1,000%.
Absolutely. Like there are situations where it's like, is this Crabby Baby? No. This is fuck
this isn't it. Yeah.
Forget it. I'm not doing this. But and Crabby Baby was there a lot in the beginning. Like that was the part that I had to really crack through to get to like, I'm gonna do this. I have to do this. I want to do this. And it's been such an evolution, and there's been so many aspects of it. And I mean, the latest one was recently, because when we started making it through episode after episode, and me being shocked, the world being shocked, and then seeing, my scores are always the lowest, but I see online how many people like that I'm a meme, basically. So that leads me to believe, I think we're getting a lot of votes.
Yes.
So I started to have to think like, I might not be going home next week or the next week, or I might be sticking around for a while, and that scared me, because I started to look at like, I started to realize the increased workload, and
like,
just kind of,
can I physically do this too?
Can I physically do this? Do I want to do this? Do I want my life back? Do I miss being home? And also too, honestly, a big part of it too is the survivor's guilt that I felt when other people went home in front of me.
That's huge.
And it feels so shitty. Like people, the week that Scott went home, I went like this, and people said, he's tired, he wants to leave. And this was Scott.
Yeah.
Scott has to go home, you know? And that does not feel good.
No. People don't realize that that's a real thing.
Yeah.
And then how that must affect you. Like, do I deserve to be here?
Absolutely.
And you absolutely do.
Yeah,
and
well,
yet,
I'll tell you.
And yet, it's like this weird feeling that I'm sure it's a mixed emotion.
As a side note, you know, because especially now that we're going into week 9, I see more and more people that are just fucking pissed that I'm still there. You know, to which I'm like, sorry. But one thing I want them to know is that no one, God, I'm getting so weepy. No one has made me feel more, no one has told me, you deserve to be here. Like, way before I still don't know that I fully am comfortable saying like I deserve to be there. The pros on that show, not just Emma, but everybody, out of their way to tell me you deserve to be here. Jan, Jan is like, I'm voting for Andy. You know, the night that they got eliminated, I'm voting for Andy. And I mean, I love Jan. Jan is the dreamiest dreamboat there is. But everyone, you know, from Jenna and Val, just everyone has been so, and Mark, just to make me believe that I can do this and to make me think, because obviously, that's the other thing. Then when people are like, he's the worst dancer. No shit. Really? I'm the worst dancer? It reminds me of like, in road rage incidents, I always had a standard answer for invariably people, you know, fuck you, no fuck you. When people would call me fat, my answer would always be like, oh my God, you're right, which really takes the wind out of their sails. And it's kind of like, you're the worst dancer. I know, it's not a secret, but it's a TV show, and I'm doing something for people. I'm doing something for people that makes them want me to see me on the TV show again.
Yes.
And they want to see me dance because it's a dance show, but they want to see me on the TV show. And that's what the pros are telling me.
Yes.
You deserve to be here because you're doing something.
You really are.
I'm
what the
doing
show
something
is about.
that's, you know, a little different than what everybody else is doing, but it deserves to be here.
And isn't that the message that I think every person on earth should feel? Which is, you can do something different and you deserve to be here.
And that's what I would want to say to the people who are really mad is that, and I've seen so many people say, like, you know, they're ruining my show. Well, it's not your show.
No.
It's just, I mean,
everyone's show.
and that's the way I've been on shows where people are mad about like the choices that we, the creators of the show, they're like, my show. No, it's my show. I make the fucking thing, you know? But to say like my show, it's like, it's so disrespectful and dismissive of people that are watching the show to get something different out of it and who just have a different opinion of what you want. This show's the amazing thing about this show, which has never been bigger. So obviously, you know, you're ruining my show. I don't think so. I think it's doing pretty good.
I'm mad and
you know, is that this show is a dozen different things. And my God, is that not what's beautiful about it? Is that not what's beautiful about every complicated, wonderful thing, you know?
What would be something that you are taking away from being on this show?
I actually just, I've had the same therapist for, gosh, probably over 30 years now.
Oh, wow.
And he's in New York, and so it's phone sessions. And now during these times, I normally like to be in one place. Now there's been a lot of like driving in the car, having therapy, and I was just talking to him as on my drive over here was my normal time, and I just kind of said, and it's kind of along the same lines as Krabby Baby, is that there was a part of me that had this laundry list of like stuff that I'm gonna do, like, and usually kind of for self-improvement, betterment of myself, you know, and it's like physical things, you know, working and, you know, getting more active, but then also kind of just like other stuff of writing more and you know, just the challenges of stuff, but like I'll get to. And then I secretly, in the last few years, secretly, almost even to myself, was like, I don't know if I'm going to do it. I don't know if, that might just kind of, and it scared me shitless. Because there have been too many people in my family that went to their final resting place disappointed. Scared the shit out of me. But it was still kind of in there like, oh, I don't know if I can do it. I came into this show reluctant about doing this thing, and it was beaten out of me. It was driven out of me over repetition, over having to do it, over getting involved into it, over Emma fucking Slater, over, falling in love with the process, falling in love with the show. And it was where that guy that was like, yeah, someday, that guy, I told him to get out of here. Yeah. I told him, get out of here. And I know now, because the notion, like, in a previous time, I might have said, well, this show has been also a physical transformation for me because of the exercise, and I've lost weight. And I also, thank you, Zep Bound. Zep Bound helped a lot, and I'm never going to not, like, be cagey about that because I think it's silly.
I don't even know what
it's one of the semaglutides. It's a Ozempic kind of thing.
Yeah.
And I don't have any qualms about using science to help me over something. It's the same when I started taking antidepressants back in the late 80s. I had friends that were like,
shaming.
Yeah, like, come on,
you don't
it's
need
going to
that.
change you and all this stuff. And the way that people talk about these weight loss drugs, it's the same thing. It's like, look, this is obviously a problem for people. Let them take a medicine that helps them get past it. So, but physically transformative, all this kind of things. And then, I may have at another time gone through something like this and kind of been like, oh, that was good for me. I'm going to really stick to sort of a regimen of exercise and staying active. I say it now, and I fucking mean it. In other times, I might have been like, no, I'm going to do that. And
like
in
you
my
get
head,
a little...
Yeah, and in my head, I'm like, maybe. But now it's just like, no, now it's like, when this show is done, knees willing, I'm back in the gym. And I'm also like really curious because I haven't done, I haven't needed to do anything but dance.
Yeah.
So I'm curious as to like, when I get back on an elliptical, like how long I can go and how much higher I can do the resistance and all this stuff.
And also the inspiration and the creativity that comes from that as well, because you're going to have the space, but you're still going to be, physically active, but you'll have the actual mental capacity.
And my opinion of what I am capable of physically, it's brand new. And it is kind of like, knees impact exercise is not the best for me, but this guy's probably next for replacement because it's just a mess. I'm going to get a cortisone shot right after I'm done here, because I had laryngitis for a few weeks there, and I was on prednisone for it, which my knees loved.
But then when it was like out of the system,
then the prednisone ended, and 2 dances a week hit, and my knees. Yeah. Yesterday, I was like, I'm like moving like an old man just because my legs are just
Do you know
so
who you're
tired.
dancing with, by the way, next week?
I do. Caitlin
Bristow.
Bristow, yeah.
Oh.
Emma had nothing but wonderful things to say about her.
You're going to love her.
That's what.
And
Dina does such a good job.
Isn't she the best?
She's just the best. Dina does the casting on the show for people who don't know. Yeah. And I know Dina put me with Emma, and so I just feel like I will owe Dina for the rest of my life.
Well, and you're going to be friends with Emma the rest of your life. Like
it's even beyond that. It's
so special.
Family level kind of stuff. And we really have talked about like what happens when
this is done.
Yeah, what happens when what about and she's like there will be withdrawal, know. And
really
and I will, like kind of miss her. And I think, in another aspect, and I just talked to her about this the other day, and she said it was something that she'd never heard anybody talk about, but I said, something that's striking to me about this show and that is so just nourishing is that you go somewhere to work on a project, an artistic, creative project with somebody, and you touch each other.
Yeah.
Almost the entire time.
There's
physical touch happening. And I have, made television and worked in creative endeavors. We're not sitting around touching each other.
No, there is like a statistic of you either need to hug a person for 21 seconds or hug a tree for 21 seconds to get actual physical oxytocin release.
Yeah.
And it is so, like, we need that as human beings.
Absolutely.
And that physical touch
Yeah.
and that connection, and you also get to see a result too. That's the one thing that I love. Because creativity, sometimes you don't get to see the end product.
Yeah.
And that's what's great about the show, too.
Yeah.
You get to actually have results.
Yeah. But that physical touch is just, it's like, no wonder I'm in a good mood.
Yeah.
Because you just kind of, and it's made me more touchy at home,
Yeah.
Like I go home.
Well,
no,
that.
I
know, I'm
but
kidding.
I just, like, I'll go home and, my daughter will be on the couch and I'll just be like,
yeah.
Come
Honestly,
here.
I'm the worst because, like, people give me their hand to shake and I'm like, nope, I'm sorry, I'm coming in for
Dancers,
a hug.
And I understand it because, like, you do.
We're so used to it.
Yeah, you're so used to it. They're the huggiest bunch of people,
Yes.
and like you see the troupe, like when they're not dancing, they're kind of laying in a
And
pile
cuddling,
like kittens.
a cuddle puddle.
Yeah.
It's true.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I feel
It's
like
a
dancers
beautiful, beautiful thing.
tend to be pretty happy people.
Yeah. So.
All right. Well, this was honestly one of my favorite conversations.
Oh, thank
especially
you.
Because
it's been lovely.
Yeah, because I love your heart. I love your sensitivity and the way that you express yourself, and I know that is why you have so many fans, because they feel connected to you.
Thank you.
And at the end of the day, like, what are we doing here if we're not connecting and having relationships and being able to share the ups and downs and everything in between? And I'm so excited for this, like, fire that's been ignited in you that through that other guy in that fire.
Yeah.
And to see what kind of magic comes from
Yeah,
from this.
I've been saying, I don't know that I'm going to become a big ballroom dancer, but this has certainly made me realize I have to challenge myself. Like, that has to be on my list of things to do, is something that's kind of daunting.
Yeah.
Something that's kind of a little scary.
I've always said it. That's like literally my only quote that I feel like has been consistent.
Yeah.
If I'm scared to do it, it means I have to do it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for
You're
coming
welcome.
to my
You're
home
welcome.
and hanging out. And
it's a beautiful home, and you're a beautiful person, and I'm glad we got to talk more than just
know.
let's
It's
go.
always
Let's
so
look at your
quick.
scores.
All right, thank you so much.
Thank
and
you,
go
Julianne.
rehearse.
All right. Oh, here he goes to get out of the chair.